Found footage in the future. Let me start with this. I'm a huge fan of the found footage genre. At its best, it's raw, immediate, and when done right, more terrifying than anything else in horror. Films like The Taking of Deborah Logan, As Above, So Below, Wreck, Lake Mungo, Grave Encounters, Paranormal Activity, and The Blair Witch Project prove just how powerful the format can be. And yet, despite its effectiveness, found footage is still treated as the bottom rung of horror, if not of cinema itself. That's surprising, especially considering how visceral and relevant these films can be. In fact, I'd argue that found footage isn't just a subgenre, it's one of the most prescient and important modes of storytelling in horror today. If you're like me, I'm confirming what you already know. But if you hate these type of movies, you might be wondering how anyone could arrive at this conclusion. Detractors of the found footage genre often share three major criticisms. Number 1, shaky cam footage. Some people can't stand the shaky camera work. They find it annoying, or worse, unwatchable. Cloverfield was both a critical and commercial success, but Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian still called its handheld technique nauseating, describing the film as feeling like a theme park ride that induced mild physical distress. Number 2, lack of logic. Audiences often complain when characters keep filming during life-threatening situations. When your characters are more interested in holding a camera than saving their own lives, the logic goes. You lose the audience. The Blair Witch Project sparked many of these debates, especially in its final moments. Number 3, too many copycats. This is the most damaging critique, that found footage is just an excuse for bad camera work, no lighting, and subpar acting. It's not a genre, it's a production strategy pretending to be a style. And in some cases, that's true. Many first-time filmmakers gravitate toward found footage because it's accessible. And they should. Film professors often say, write what you know and write for what you can shoot. Don't set your story in a mansion if you can't get one. Don't have a crew? Then write a story that doesn't need one. But in my opinion, those limitations are the point. These criticisms are what make the format work and what make it important. As Cecilia Syed argues in Found Footage Horror and the Frame's Undoing, found footage horror borrows the authority of the documentary form. These films pretend to be real, mimicking the look and feel of amateur footage through shaky camera work, naturalistic performances, and in-world timestamps. This aesthetic doesn't just imitate reality, it leverages our instincts to believe what we see when it's framed like documentary truth. This aesthetic doesn't just imitate reality, it leverages our instinct to believe what we see when it's framed like documentary truth. Found footage uses that trust to make the horror feel real, but it also destabilizes that trust. Once you realize that the footage is fake because it's a movie, you may begin to question whether any documentary can be trusted. The genre plays with that line between truth and fiction, sometimes eroding our faith in the frame itself. And that's the horror. If it's real, then we're watching something truly awful from a first-person perspective. If it's not, then how can we trust anything? That too is horrifying. Take that from someone who's both succeeded and failed in the genre. I've made work that connected with people and work that absolutely didn't. Proof of the Devil was the latter, and still it was the most fun I've ever had on set. Maybe that was the problem. It was my first major project after film school. I had written it, but wasn't supposed to direct until just days before shooting. Then I found out we didn't have production insurance. No stunts. That was just the beginning. Still, we charged ahead. We shot 90 pages in 7 days. It was fast, chaotic, and somehow still thrilling. I cut the film myself and did most of the effects, and poured everything I had into post. Then we got distribution, and I was fired. The distributor recut the film almost exactly how I had it, removed most of the effects, and even misspelled the characters' names. Watching it later wasn't nearly as fun as making it, but I don't regret it. I learned more from that project than anything else I've done, and it only deepened my love for the genre. Later, I made The Thing Inside Us, which I retitled Married to a Sleepwalker. Most of you know that one. I made it to see if it was even possible to shoot a feature where I was the only person behind the camera. If you haven't seen the behind the scenes video, then please check it out. It's on the Vintage 8 channel. That film got a mixed response at first, but once it premiered online, the feedback was generally positive. I still think the re-edit is the better version. It wasn't as fun as Proof of the Devil, but it was just as rewarding. And I still dream of making a truly solid entry in the found footage canon, something that honors the genre's roots while pushing it forward. Hopefully, third time's the charm. Although I wasn't successful, I only went down this road because on some level, I too wanted to create my Blair Witch. I too was affected by its low budget charm, which is largely why I think the Blair Witch Project might be one of the most important films of the last 50 years. Maybe ever. Think about how many filmmakers and imitators started with that movie. Sure, there were earlier examples like Cannibal Holocaust, but Blair Witch brought the genre into the mainstream. There would be no Paranormal Activity and no legions of imitators without it. Even Roger Ebert praised it. At a time when digital techniques can show us almost anything, the Blair Witch Project is a reminder that what really scares us is the stuff we can't see. 3.5 out of 4 stars. Chicago Sun-Times, 1999. He admired its minimalism, its refusal to show too much, and how its realism made the fear feel personal. Roger Ebert said in the article, the performances are all the more convincing because they seem so real. We're watching people who look and sound like ordinary college students. Which proves that when the genre is handled expertly, it truly works like no other. But let's look at found footage another way. I think people who love the genre generally fall into one of 5 groups. 1. Realism seekers. They're the ones who crave that this could really be happening feeling. Why they love it, it feels unscripted, like we're watching something we weren't meant to see. Number 2, voyeuristic viewers. Why they love it, it scratches the same itch as creepypasta, true crime, or YouTube rabbit holes. Example, people who binge ghost hunting shows or found file compilations. Number 3, immersive gamers and internet natives. These are the people who grew up with ARGs, survival horror, and viral storytelling. Why they love it, they like fragmented narratives that make them connect the dots. Look at movies like Marble Hornets, The Backrooms, or Outlast. See, found footage works much like a haunted house. It puts you in the middle of the scares. It feels real and places you at the center of a story, almost like a video game. Today's games are more immersive, interactive, and cinematic. Found footage works the same way, in my opinion. It asks us to participate, to buy into the idea that what we're watching is real. Number 4, conspiracy theorists and media skeptics. So these people don't trust institutions or polished narratives. Why they love it, found footage speaks their language. Grainy, glitchy, buried in static. Example are fans of analog horror, liminal spaces, or lost media. And then finally 5, horror purists. These are the low budget lovers. I would be among this list. Traits: love horror stripped to the bone, no gloss, no CGI, just tension. They love it because the format forces creativity, limitations become the strength. Example would be people who argue Hell House LLC is scarier than The Nun. All 5 of these categories make a pretty diverse group, and most of us fall into at least one, if not more. What's interesting is that these are the same groups that gravitate toward internet horror. Look at analog horror, digital horror, ARGs. Look at Marble Hornets. It fits all 3: found footage, creepypasta, YouTube storytelling, and in many ways it predicted the future of narrative horror online. The future, which brings us to where we started in this essay. Despite the shaky cams, the narrative shortcuts, the imitators, Found footage might be the most important horror genre in cinema. Why? Because it predicted the future. Remember that second criticism, the one about characters filming instead of running? Would you still say that today? I wouldn't. Found footage didn't misunderstand human behavior, it revealed it, or maybe it shaped it. Today there's a camera on everything. We document every second. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. When disaster strikes, we film, we upload, we watch. We record joy, we record fear, we record our own destruction at this point. Even the news looks like a found footage movie. The found footage genre and the filmmakers who participated in that genre saw it coming. Found footage understood what we'd become before we even got there. Found footage didn't predict the future, it filmed it. Today, the camera never cuts. We don't scream off screen anymore, we live stream it. If horror reflects our fears, then found footage reflects what we've become. Always watching, always recording, never cutting away. Camera never cuts anymore because we've all become the directors of our own destruction. So what do you guys think? Did found footage predict the future? Do you think it's as important as I do? I'm always trying to learn and be a better filmmaker, so please comment below. Until next time, I'm Vintage 8.